What is going on YouTube? Hitting back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as XRP. We're also going to be looking at the current coin market cap, as well as an article talking about crypto trading one-on-one. And in today's video, we'll be looking at the Fibonacci levels, because I feel like a lot of you guys maybe don't understand exactly how to use Fibonacci or how to start using it or what exactly it means. So hopefully this video will help give you some background as we diverse and hopefully help you implement Fibonacci levels and Fibonacci trading within your cryptocurrency and help you make better trades. Otherwise, guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up, and let's jump into today's episode. So guys, before we begin, I want to talk about the current coin market cap, what exactly to expect before we divulge into the current chartings. You can see out of the top 10 cryptocurrencies, everything is in green for the most part, except for Ethereum and Litecoin, unfortunately, the two cryptos that we want to see really in green. I know there are a lot of other altcoins that you guys are invested into too, but I like to talk mainly about the bigger blue chip cryptocurrencies. Not to say that, EOS and Binance Coin aren't one of them, but for the most part, Bitcoin at 83, we're seeing Litecoin at 56. We don't really look too bad. You can see we did have that little retracement recently, but for the most part, we're starting to kind of pick back up. So we don't look too bad all in all. Markets for the most part look like we're kind of in the middle, kind of a trading sideways type of day, evening out. But for the most part, I do want to just jump into this article talking about on CoinDesk, the crypto trading 101, the Fibonacci retracement. So what exactly that is, because as you guys know, I've been implementing Fibonacci lines onto my charts, and I want to kind of help you guys better understand what exactly this may be. So Fibonacci retracement sounds sophisticated, but what does it do and does it work? So luckily for traders, Fibonacci retracements are far more than just a nifty word. In fact, it's the name of a tool used to predict potential support and resistance levels for price action. First, let's define the so-called Fibonacci. So you have a better idea as what to go off of. So this is Leonardo of Pisa. Fibonacci was the 11th century mathematician responsible for introducing the unique number sequence. So as you can see, it goes 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, so on and so forth. Each number in the sequence is derived from the sum of the preceding numbers, the preceding two numbers. Clever, right? So 2 plus the past 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, 8 plus 5 is 13, 13 plus 8 is 21. You see how I'm going off of that? So flowers, for example, lily is arranged with 3 petals, buttercups with 5, chicory with 21, daisies with 34, and so on. Interestingly, the numbers abide by the Fibonacci sequence, and each petal is even placed at 0.618 per turn out of the 360-degree circle, allowing for optimal exposure to the light. So before using Fibonacci tools to identify potential support for resistance or resistance levels, a trader must first be able to identify a swing high and a swing low. A swing high is simply a candlestick at the peak of a trend in any time frame that has lower highs directly to its right and left. Conversely, swing low is a low candlestick of a trend with higher lows on each side, one of these points. So what I want you guys to notice is a difference in the lines that we normally use, which are these Fibonacci levels, versus the lines on here, which are quite stagnant. So they started with the high, and then they're pulling it downwards to the low point of the charts. Very interesting. So I wanted to show you guys what exactly that could mean in terms of finding these potential supports and resistances. So once again, he's using Fibonacci right here. He's using the high, and then he's pulling it down to the low, or he's starting at the low and pulling to the high. Regardless, we'll figure it out. So he's starting with these highs, and you can see how exactly these prices all kind of come into play with the Fibonacci levels. So I think it's not pretty nice, and I want to show you guys how to use that. It's important to remember that while Fibonacci tool can be useful in identifying the resistances, they're not guaranteed. In order to increase the probability of certain retracements acting advertised, it's best to use the tool along with other indicators like the moving averages or relative strength indicators as we use. So if we jump into, let's start with Bitcoin right here. So we can see from a couple of things that we do have some highs and we do have some lows. Where exactly to place this? Let's jump to the weekly. Hopefully this will help us. So very interesting, we have a high. We could say we have a low down here as well. Basically, Fibonacci is located on this bar tool. We are using Fibonacci's that kind of correlate with the price and with the moving averages versus a, stable Fibonacci, which we do have the option to choose on our tool set. So on this tool set, you can see Fibonacci retracement. There's also Fibonacci extensions as well, going upwards. So if we take the Fibonacci extensions, or sorry, retracement, and we start from a high and we pull it down to a low, the low is pretty much right about here. So when we start this off, you can start to see what exactly this opens for us. This starts to open resistances and supports. This being our bottom, this is the low, and this is the point at the top, which is the high. And you can kind of see where the price kind of correlates in hitting resistances, hitting supports right here, falling down to this bottom support right here. And you can see if we did this in the beginning, you'll notice a couple of things. With this on here in the beginning, I know there's a couple lines on here, so it makes it a little more confusing, but we opened up the high, we started at the highest point, and we pulled this all the way down to the low, being right here. And you'll notice that the price down at the low is exactly where the price is currently retracing off of from. Being that this is the bottom, we're starting to see prices retest and retrace to the higher levels. Now understand, at the same time this is happening, we have a resistance right here, where you can see we've had support retest numerous times, and now the price is seemingly having problems very close to that zone. Interestingly enough, the same time this is happening, we're seeing that same pattern with the Fibonacci levels that we added on, which you can find in indicators, and you type in Fibonacci, you can see the Fibonacci, I believe it's the Fibonacci EMAs. Yeah, so this is the Fibonacci EMAs, and that's following it currently. So if we were to search Fibonacci EMAs to get some better background, we can see, I think that's it, or EMAs right here. This pretty much talks about what exactly this is doing. You can see these are the running averages. So the running averages kind of help you. I wish this helped explain it a little bit, but you can see it talks about each of those candles doubling right here. The Fibonacci levels, these are the colors right here. And you can see if we find what exactly they're using, or I can find it in the next one, most common use period creating moving averages. Well, it doesn't really explain it much. I can find a little bit more work on that in the next video. But for right now, we're using Fibonacci in terms of a tool to try to track how high and how low we could go. So same thing, we can do this with Litecoin, pull up the weekly so we get a better view of things. And I think this is the bottom and this is the high. So this would inevitably be a difference in price. So we can see right here, this being, I'd say, the bottom. You'll notice a very interesting pattern as well, and how these prices actually correlate so closely with everything that's on here. So just to maybe make this a little bit easier for us to see, if we hide volume, if we hide the middle moving averages, if we hide Fibonacci here too, you can see where exactly these prices are kind of correlating. And we can pull this back some, you know, it doesn't have to be exactly on there. Pull it back to around here being the bottom. You'll notice how the prices are kind of correlating. Let's see right there. Or I think it might be a little bit lower. Okay. So you can see where exactly these prices kind of are falling exactly on where everything is. So yes, we did start with the high. Yes, we did start with the low being right here. And you can see where the prices kind of correlate. This is the red zone, the bottom right here, the bottom half, and we're currently bouncing off of support. Notice at this level right here at the 70.42 or the 0.38, you can see we're currently hitting this right here. And then you can see even higher, we've seemingly hit very close to right there as well. And then each time we go upwards, you can see these points of contact. So it's very interesting to see how exactly these pretty much work within the price levels and price actions. Now, I personally like to use all technical indicators. This helps me better judge where exactly we're going. Obviously, the high-low MMA, as well as, you know, other charts. Fibonacci is great too. The RSI is a great one as well. So you can see within Litecoin that we are starting to retrace back up, which makes sense because of how undervalued we are. Not only is the green band and the red band on the high-low MMAs very open, and we are currently below that in price, Fibonacci is right here too. These are great indicators to show that we're undervalued, and for the most part, within the long-term scale of things, we're looking for that reversal back up to 70, $73 in the price. So very interesting. It looks like that's where the price wants to head on the weekly. So long term, we do look quite bullish within Litecoin. On the daily, we do seem to be getting quite a bit of resistance, but if the price can continue to hold on Litecoin's daily right here, like we're seeing, and the Fibonacci's get closer and we get more intertwined, it will potentially open us up to possibilities of breaking through that. So we do look good in terms of Litecoin's weekly. Now to show you guys Bitcoin does seem to be the opposite. So Bitcoin is actually, if I get rid of the Fibonacci's, above, it's trading above its high-low middle moving averages. You can see these two bands right here, which is necessarily not what we want to see. We want to see both of these kind of interact with each other, Litecoin and Bitcoin. Litecoin's undervalued, Bitcoin is overvalued right now. We're seemingly coming back down into support, but understand that we are within a big symmetrical triangle formation. So long term on Bitcoin, it looks like we want to head lower. And unfortunately, that probably will hold true. It looks for the most part that Bitcoin wants to head back down. Eventually, we could see that breakout. This is still behind 2019, so 2020 could see a pretty big spike to the upside. We have yet to be inside the high-low middle moving averages since May of 2019. So we had June, July, August, September, October. So we had 5 months now, almost half a year of trading above this, and it's finally starting to come back down and recede back into the price level. So this is more neutral. It doesn't look too bad. Let's see how Bitcoin is. You can see Bitcoin just looks like it wants to head back down on the daily too, and we're starting to hit this resistance, so we may just continue to consolidate lower. That's pretty much what we're seeing right now compared to Litecoin, which kind of wants to do the opposite. Ethereum, on the other hand, looks okay. Same thing. Ethereum probably is undervalued on its weekly too. Indeed it is. So it looks like it wants to climb back up too. So all the altcoins do look like they want to retrace to higher levels. It's the problem is Bitcoin is the one that's so overvalued right now, which is causing the market to kind of sway in the opposite direction. So let's go to XRP to USD. Don't know why that deleted itself, but you can see what exactly we're seeing here. This is XRP. Very interesting. You can see we're hugging the top right now, getting intertwined within the Fibonacci's, but we do have this extremely strong resistance that's been acting as a very strong, downwards pressure on the price. And if I was to make a judgment, I would assume that we would head lower. Because we've hit resistance in the past, it looks like it wants to head back down, possibly use this bottom support to continue the pattern. But for the most part, the biggest focus is Bitcoin, on the fact that Bitcoin looks to me like it's in a massive symmetrical triangle. Could even call it a falling wedge, but this massive symmetrical triangle looks like it needs to play out, and it's a long-term move. So for the most part, long-term, we need to see consolidation within here. You can even see when you look at this on the 4 hour, it looks very nice too. Major symmetrical triangle, broke bearish, fell down, followed Fibonacci, intertwined with this too, but it looks like we still have this massive cap. This is a huge resistance downwards. So it looks like prices are still going to have to fight here. So even if we do manage to break up through here, and you'll notice prices really don't break up through as much on the 4 hour. We kind of get hugged right in here. It looks like for the most part we're going to probably ride this out lower. And I know that's unfortunate, but I do think we're still in a long-term bear move. Otherwise, guys, there is still potential to be made. Hopefully that summed up the Fibonacci's. We'll try to use more of that in tomorrow's video. Otherwise, if you like that, definitely make sure to leave a comment. Let me know if you guys use Fibonacci indicators at all. Otherwise, make sure to drop a thumbs up, turn on post notifications, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.